I'm a gym rat. I look at other people and I'm like, wow, I just immediately know that I'm better than them. I feel like this body should not go to waste. Everywhere I go, people make it hard for me to be humble because they're like, damn, you look good.
You're 26, get a job, get a house, get an apartment. Stop smoking and you can succeed.
What's good, homies? You probably clicked this video thinking, what the hell, is it 2019? And no, you didn't hop in a time machine, but I just figured for old time's sake, let's take a trip down memory lane and react to a freaking Dr. Phil episode. I never thought I'd say that again, but a lot of you guys joined my channel when I used to do these reactions pretty much non-stop. And as you know, I love covering TV trash. Why the hell am I continuing to exclude this old man who continues to blow my mind with how ridiculous and stupid these episodes are? So today's episode, we're going to be checking out a 26-year-old, I believe, who is a stay-at-home son, which is about the nicest way to put that. But the main thing is this guy thinks he's just God's gift to humanity. You're gonna see he wants to be a male model and refuses to do anything else job-wise outside of that. But I don't know about you guys, he doesn't really seem to be male model material. But make sure you drop a like if you enjoy these videos. It helps out the channel immensely. Let's see if we can hit 2,000 likes on this one. And drop a subscription if you haven't already, or else your feet are gonna turn into cobs of corn and you're gonna wake up and I ask you, how the hell are you gonna fit on your shoes with those weird ass feet? But without any further ado, let's get right on into it, shall we?
My mom is constantly on my back and never gives me a break.
He's extremely volatile, narcissistic, and entitled.
So this is Blake, whose own mother just described him as volatile, narcissistic, and entitled. And I gotta say, as you meet this guy further, you're gonna understand just how correct the mother is in this assessment. This guy has quite a bit of things wrong with him, and he also loves checking himself out in the mirror because he is a, quote, gym rat, which I can't knock it. This dude's in 1,000 times better shape than I have ever been in my life. But still, he's not really somebody who's looking like a gym rat, you know what I mean? But in his head, he thinks he's the biggest, most swole, most jacked male model that has ever existed on this planet.
I pay for his phone, his insurance, I even bought his car. About a year and a half ago, I purchased a new home. I let Blake move into my new home.
And guess who's living in that home by himself? Yeah, that's right, Blakey Pooh, who is 26 years old, like I said, and in today's day and age, it's not that weird to live at home with your parents, but a lot of people who live at home are still, you know, working and trying to build a future for themselves, even though it's becoming objectively impossible as time goes on. But let's not think about that or dwell on that too much. I already do that enough in my off time of making videos. But this guy, he just is waiting for a male modeling gig, and until that comes along, he's like, no, mommy, I'm not gonna go to work. I'm not gonna find a stupid job unless I get the cover photo for Male Modeling magazine.
If he doesn't get his way or get the things that he thinks he deserves, he throws a complete fit.
I told her I'd set the house on fire.
This dude just sounds like Sid from Toy Story. He's an absolute shithead, and whenever his mother asks him to do something as simple as taking out the trash, he throws a massive hissy fit like a toddler and starts breaking everything in his sight out of rage. He's one of these I see red when you double cross me type people who think that they're living the archetype of the Joker. You know what I mean? Like, he's definitely staring at himself in the mirror and laughing, trying to perfect his Joker laugh. And needless to say, he's just a menace at home.
And what kind of job is it that you're looking for?
It's none of your business. Where have you sent your resume?
Well, I have a job. Why would I send my resume
because you need
anywhere?
a better job.
And he's so bad at deflecting. Mom's like, yeah, so have you applied any places? He's like, why don't you apply to some more places, dumb bitch? I don't need a new resume. You need a resume. I don't even have anything to put on there anyways. No place would hire me. Yeah, so it sounds like this dude's just raging at every single job of his and crashes out, causing himself to be fired or just too embarrassed to where he doesn't want to show up anymore. Which, if that's happening that often and you're not even in your 30s yet, you got to think to yourself, when am I ever going to build a career at this point? If every single job I'm losing because I'm freaking out and I just have this roid rage going on.
I feel like this body should not go to waste. Everywhere I go, people make it hard for me to be humble because they're like, damn, you look good.
That is fucking awesome. This montage of him working out in the park, doing pull-ups on tree branches and I don't know if it's just because his workout outfit is terrible. Like, I feel like half the equation of looking good when you're working out is, you know, having not super baggy Target basketball shorts on. I mean, I don't expect him to be out here looking like lean beef patty in some short shorts, but still, he just looks like such a dweebus. And he's out here like, yeah, I'm pretty much a god among men, and a lot of guys and girls bow down to me and my body. They treat it like a temple, and let's just say they are always paying their respects. Like, shut the hell up, dude.
I'm a gym rat. I look at other people and I'm like, wow, I just immediately know that I'm better than them.
I look at all these fat motherfuckers and I'm just thinking to myself, man, I'm so glad I'm healthy and strong. It's like, of course you're strong, dude. You have nothing to do with your day. If I lived at home with mommy and she was bugging me this much too, I'd probably go out to the gym as well. You know what I mean? But the rest of us, we're working normal jobs. A lot of people are working overtime jobs and still out here working out more than him. So he has nothing to be bragging about. Yet he really thinks he's of a different class and species of human. You know what I mean? He's just elevated above all of us because he slightly can retain a six-pack. Also, these selfie faces are insane. If he has any of these on dating apps, so many women are swiping left instantly thinking, oh my God, I just met the next, Netflix documentary in the making about this guy who was just on Tinder taking these people out left and right. Because, man, that face he's making, that is just absolutely, utterly terrifying.
He's incredibly disrespectful. Blake will call me a piece of and says that I've ruined his life.
How much you want to bet he says she's ruined his life, talking about his mother here, whenever she asks him to do the most small things, like go to the grocery store and, buy Cheetos and Mountain Dew for himself, or maybe apply to a place today, or at least work on his resume. Maybe she'll ask him to maybe add just a couple bullet points to that, that whole experience section, please. He's like, I hate you, Mom. You're the worst. Why is my life so hard?
You think you got a model type body and all that?
Yeah, I would say I have no trouble with the ladies.
So now we're here. Dr. Phil is squaring off against this absolute narcissist. And he admits himself, he really does think that he's a ladies' man because of the fact that he is just male model status. And that's why he gets all these women. Which, maybe it's true. I don't live in his body, but I don't know. Comment down below if you're a woman, if you would give this guy a chance. Seeing him on the show right now and seeing how terrifying he looks in person. I mean, he's just got an intense look and vibe to him. You know what I mean?
How you get along with your mom?
Not very well. No.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, considering you're on Dr. Phil with her, I guess that's not even a question that really needs to be answered. Obviously, you and your mom do not get along well. And again, that's just because she's trying to hold him to the smallest level of standards of just being a simple adult. Actually, no, she's asking him to do like teenager shit. Like, hey, we got to get you on your first job ever. Can you please apply to a place? I can bring your resume around with you. We could drop it off places. And he's just like, no, I hate you. Shut up.
I told her, hey, if you don't want me to live here, I will gladly go find a spot to live.
No, that's not what you said. Actually, you've sent some text messages to her.
And I love that instantly this guy's trying to lie. And Dr. Phil's like, actually, no, you're really shitty to your mom. In fact, we have these texts to prove it. Let's read, or hear at least, some of these texts that he's been sending mommy when he gets angry.
And you said, bring me some burn cream, bitch. This is what you get for making me put the lawnmower in and out of the car. I'm like seriously pissed off now.
That is insane. Oh my God. He literally called his mom a bitch. And it's because she asked him to mow the lawn. Was I correct in my prediction earlier or what? Like, she is asking him to do the bare minimum things, the type of stuff you start offering for your kids to do when you think they're getting to be old enough to, have some responsibility and do chores on their own. Maybe like 10, 11. Nah, this dude's 26. And he's like, Mom, you freaking made me get a sunburn because I was out mowing the lawn the whole day. And how much you want to bet they have 50 square feet of lawn in their front yard and he's still whining like a little child that he had to mow it once?
I call the internet people out to the house.
Yeah.
Have the installation ready. No, I don't want holes drilled in my brand new wood floors.
Mom wouldn't even let me get fiber internet. Like, do you see how angry his face is getting? That's the funniest part. These are such small things that he could take care of if he, once again, had a job and contributed to the household. It probably wouldn't be an issue to pay for the repairs of these floors. Whatever the mom was saying that was the issue. But he's just he's whining over the smallest things. And you could tell this means the world to him because he has no life and no actual content in his life to be filling up his time. It's pretty much just his mom, depression, some more of his mom, and some more depression. And that's his day-to-day life.
She acts like a private school sorority stuck up bitch.
He thinks that I'm the golden child.
Wow, so he's calling everybody in his family bitches. Now we're talking about his sister, who he just has a really, fervent dislike for because she's out here being a successful adult, as she should be. She went to school as well as him. He went to college as well, but he claims that she went to a nicer college, a nicer high school, and that's why she has a career. No, I think she just applied herself and was a normal person and didn't burn herself out like her brother did. But now he's really taking his rage out on her. And it sounds like nobody in this dude's family likes him, which, it makes sense. I've seen him for a couple minutes only, and I'm already sick of his ass.
He could snap at any moment.
One time I got in an argument with Sarah, and I got so mad at her. I told her, I'm going to defecate on your porch.
Wow, and he has some incredible problem-solving skills. He said, you know what, sister, you're pissing me off so much, I'm gonna go take a dookie on your front porch. What do you think about that? Which also, I don't remember when he said this story took place, but in my head canon, it happened a week before they filmed this. Like, he was still a 26-year-old, grown-ass adult, and he was like, I'm gonna go take a duty on your porch because you said you weren't driving me to the movie theater to see the Minecraft movie. How am I supposed to scream chicken jockey with the other middle school? Oh wait, no, I'm not in middle school. I just feel like I'm in middle school because I don't have a job, but I'm almost 30. Yeah, that's right.
He makes my stomach turn. He called me recently on a text message over nothing, and I just said, okay.
And they censored what he called her, but I'm sure he's calling his mom and sisters all sorts of names because nobody checks him in his life. Nobody taught him to, dude, I don't care how angry you are, you don't call people names like that. Like, it really sounds like he just is forever a toddler and isn't growing out of this phase.
Once I was at a party, these guys kicked me out. I hopped up on this guy's brand new truck, defecated all over it.
Dude, why is this grown-ass man, his only problem-solving skills is rage and punch a hole in the wall and scream at his mom, or take a shit on his enemy's property? Why is those the two options in your brain, dude? There's way more options than that. Like, this guy just desperately needs a therapist and not to be on Dr. Phil trying to solve his problems that clearly he has way too many of for this show.
I am what you would call a man whore. I love they're easy.
Wow, and now he's talking about women, and this guy just has the nicest views on women, as you can tell. He really thinks that they're much more than objects. Oh no, I'm completely wrong on that. Yeah, actually no, he has the worst takes, and he only sees them as objects. And he also thinks that he's getting around way more than any other dudes because, again, he looks like a male model. That's in his own words, not mine.
Do you think your way of being in the world is working for you?
Wow, and Dr. Phil's question has this guy speechless, unable to answer because he knows deep down, no, obviously everything I'm doing in, my day-to-day life, it's not serving me. It's actually counteractive to all my goals, to his goals of becoming a male model, of getting a job, getting his own house, getting a career, getting friends, getting a girlfriend, all this stuff. He's holding himself back on purpose by being such an asshole. And I know we've just been laughing at this dude and piling onto him, but I feel like, this is the point where Dr. Phil's trying to get serious and really talk to this guy because he even explains himself that he has 2 sons that are around this guy's age, and he thinks of how he would handle this situation if they were in his spot. Of course you can give this guy tough love, but instead we got to look at the root of the problems, which we're about to get into here.
When I was 18, I went out and visited my dad. He was scary.
We really don't even know if he's dead or alive.
So it sounds like, sadly, this guy's dad just up and left when he was 15. His dad had some severe mental health issues, and he actually later found his dad out on the street, living on the street, suffering from clearly prolonged, severe mental health episodes, which has to be super traumatizing and scary to see. He explains that himself. He says this was not a cool thing, and right here is where Dr. Phil really makes a breakthrough and tries to explain to this guy why he thinks he's been the way he is, and why he's so rude and standoffish to everybody, because he's almost trying to fail on purpose.
And so a big part of you has got to be thinking, is this a ticking time bomb in me?
So basically what Dr. Phil's saying is, after seeing his dad in this state, this dude has been so afraid that obviously this stuff is, genetic and can be passed down. You have a higher predisposition of, sharing this stuff with your parents, whatever their afflictions might be mentally. So knowing that, this guy, he's terrified of that, and that's why he's trying to set himself up for failure, because he just expects, at one point I'm going to snap like my dad and just not be able to function, or be a part of society, which is actually so sad to hear. And I'm sure there's many people who have felt that feeling before, when you realize, wow, the people who brought me into this world are screwed up. I'm gonna be screwed up too. But you can't really have that outlook. Not that we have to turn this into some motivational ass video, but I really do think Dr. Phil surprisingly hit the nail on the head right here. And that's exactly why this guy has been such a menace to everybody. He's just scared of letting people in and being vulnerable, because he thinks at some point he's not gonna be himself and turn into some maniac, when already he's been acting like a maniac before that.
Genetics, it tells us who can be, not who will be. It tells us who might be predisposed, not who will manifest.
And damn, Dr. Phil's got this dude's whole family crying. Like, yeah, it's getting real right now. And he's really telling him, dude, you don't have to believe that this is a diagnosis for yourself. You know what I mean? Like, yes, there is now statistic evidence that you might have a higher chance of coming down with this stuff and finding out you might be, suffering from the same ailments as your father, but that doesn't mean it's a guarantee. So you can't be living your life like it's a guarantee. He's basically saying, dude, change your ways, because you're trying to destroy yourself before you think you're going to get destroyed no matter what. And that's not going to be the case. So to wrap wrap up the show, Dr. Phil invites a friend who has a, treatment facility where they can get this dude diagnosed and give him some serious, help on how to live his life with the obvious mental health issues that he has already, speaking of the guy right here. And they actually give another crazy offer where Dr. Phil offers to help track down this guy's dad once again and is going to give him the same treatment if he wants it, which is pretty powerful. I mean, a lot of tears are shed, but really, we were mostly here to make fun of this guy. So hopefully he's able to turn his life around. But for now, it was great cracking a laugh at this guy who thinks he is God's gift to planet Earth and just has a chiseled Adonis body, which is, not quite the case. I don't know. Again, the jury's out there. I can't really be judging anybody when I'm a fat myself, but make sure you drop a like. Let me know if this was a good throwback and you enjoyed this, or if you've been around since the Dr. Phil days. I'm not sure if there's many of you around anymore that were from that era, but if you are, you have my utmost respect. Thanks for the long-term support, and thanks to everybody new who clicked the video. Make sure you don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll catch you guys soon for another video, and until next time, peace out.